What you're about to witness is one of the most explosive moments in Judge Caprio's entire career. An arrogant lawyer, a vulnerable immigrant, and a display of disrespect so outrageous that the judge, who's known for his patience and kindness, completely loses it. But before we dive into this absolute bombshell of a case, let me ask you something. Where are you watching us from? United States? Mexico? Spain? Philippines? India? Drop it in the comments, because I love seeing this community grow worldwide. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button, because we bring you the most intense Judge Caprio moments with full breakdowns. Trust me, you do not want to miss what happens in this courtroom today. It's a Wednesday afternoon in Providence, Rhode Island. The courtroom has that usual buzz of activity, people waiting for their cases, attorneys shuffling papers, the typical sounds of justice being served. But nobody is prepared for what's about to unfold. The next case is called Maria Gonzalez versus the City of Providence. Parking violation. Seems routine, right? Wrong. This is about to become the most talked about case of the year. Maria Gonzalez enters the courtroom. She's a 52-year-old woman, clearly nervous. You can see it in the way she walks, the way her hands are clasped tightly together. She's wearing her work uniform, a housekeeping outfit from one of the local hotels. Her English isn't perfect, but she's trying her best. She approaches the podium with hesitation, looking around like she's not quite sure she belongs there. Judge Caprio looks up with his usual warm greeting. "Good morning, Mrs. Gonzalez. I see you're here about a parking ticket. Before we begin, do you need a translator? I can arrange that for you." Maria shakes her head quickly. No, Your Honor. I speak English. Not perfect, but I understand. I try my best. Judge Caprio smiles kindly. "That's fine, Mrs. Gonzalez. Just do your best, and we'll work through this together." But then, the door swings open dramatically. In walks Attorney Derek Mitchell, mid-40s, expensive suit, that kind of slick back hair that screams, "I think I'm better than everyone." Briefcase that probably costs more than Maria makes in 3 months. He strides into the courtroom like he owns the place, barely acknowledging anyone. He tosses his briefcase onto the table with a loud thud that makes Maria flinch. "Your Honor," Attorney Derek Mitchell representing the City of Providence in this matter. He doesn't even look at Maria. Judge Caprio raises an eyebrow. "This is unusual. Parking tickets don't usually warrant city attorneys. Mr. Mitchell, this seems like a fairly straightforward parking violation. Is there a reason the city sent an attorney?" Mitchell smirks. That condescending, arrogant smirk that immediately tells you everything you need to know about this guy. "Your Honor, the city is cracking down on repeat offenders. Mrs. Gonzalez here has 3 previous parking violations. We're seeking the maximum penalty plus court costs." He finally glances at Maria with pure disdain. Some people need to learn that rules apply to everyone, even if they don't understand them. If you're already feeling your blood pressure rise, hit that like button, because trust me, it gets so much worse before it gets better. And make sure you stay until the end, because Judge Caprio's reaction is absolutely legendary. Judge Caprio's expression changes slightly. Those who watch him regularly know that look. Gonzalez is here to present her case. "Mrs. Gonzalez, please tell me about these parking tickets." Maria starts to speak, her accent thick but her words sincere. "Your Honor, I work 2 jobs. I clean hotel rooms during the day, and I clean offices at night. The parking tickets, they are from when I park near the bus stop to catch my bus. I don't have a car that works good, so I take the bus. But sometimes I am late from my first job and I park quick to catch the bus to my second job I know is wrong, but I cannot lose my jobs. It's a heartbreaking explanation. This is a woman working herself to the bone, trying to survive, making mistakes out of desperation rather than disrespect for the law. Anyone with an ounce of compassion can see that. But not Derek Mitchell. This guy is about to show his true colors in the most disgusting way possible. Mitchell actually laughs. He laughs. Your Honor, this is exactly the kind of excuse we hear all the time. I have to work. I have kids. I don't understand. The truth is, if Mrs. Gonzalez can't follow simple parking rules, perhaps she shouldn't be driving. Perhaps she should wake up earlier. Perhaps she should learn to read the signs better. They're in English for a reason. The courtroom goes dead silent. Did he really just say that? Even the clerk looks up in shock. The court officer's hand tightens on his belt. And Judge Caprio? His face is turning red. But Mitchell isn't done. He turns to face Maria directly, speaking slowly and loudly like she's a child. Do you understand the signs? Mrs. Gonzalez? The big red letters that say no parking? Or is that too complicated? Maybe we need to draw pictures for people who come to this country and expect special treatment. Boom. There it is. The mask is completely off now. This isn't about parking tickets. This is about something much uglier. And Judge Caprio has heard enough. His gavel comes down like thunder. That is enough. The entire courtroom jumps. Judge Caprio is on his feet, and if you've watched hundreds of his cases, you know this almost never happens. This man who shows infinite patience to struggling defendants, who treats everyone with dignity. Drop a comment right now telling me if you've ever seen someone treat another person this disgracefully. Have you ever witnessed this kind of prejudice? Let me know, because this community stands together against this kind of behavior. Judge Caprio's voice is shaking with anger. Mr. Mitchell, I want to make something crystal clear right now. I don't care if you're representing the city, the state, or the President of the United States himself. You will not speak to people in my courtroom that way. Do you understand me? Mitchell has the audacity to look annoyed. Your Honor, I'm simply pointing out the facts of the case. Facts? Facts? Judge Caprio is practically shouting now. The fact is that Mrs. Gonzalez is working 2 jobs to support her children. The fact is she's doing everything she can to contribute to this community. The fact is she came to this country looking for a better life. And people like you make that harder every single day. Those are the facts. Counselor, the courtroom erupts in applause. People are actually clapping and cheering. The court officer has to step forward, but even he's trying not to smile. Mitchell's face is bright red now, but not from shame, from anger that he's being challenged. Your Honor, this is inappropriate. I'm an officer of the court, and I deserve respect. Oh, you want respect? Judge Caprio leans forward on his bench, his eyes boring into Mitchell. Let me tell you about respect, Mr. Mitchell. Mrs. Gonzalez works 2 jobs, cleaning up after people who probably look down on her, just like you're doing right now. She takes the bus because she can't afford a reliable car. She's raising 3 children. She came to my courtroom today worried and scared because she can't afford these fines. And you? You mock her English? You mock her circumstances? You mock her very existence in this country? That is the most disrespectful thing I've seen in 30 years on this bench. Mitchell tries to interrupt, but Judge Caprio cuts him off immediately. I am not finished. You stand there in your expensive suit, making more money in a month than Mrs. Gonzalez probably makes in a year, and you have the nerve to lecture her about following rules. Let me tell you something. I've seen thousands of cases. I've seen people from every background, every situation, every circumstance, and the people who deserve respect are the ones who show up every day and try their best despite the obstacles. Mrs. Gonzalez has more integrity in her little finger than you've displayed in this entire proceeding. If you're loving Judge Caprio's response, smash that like button and share this video. The world needs to see what real justice looks like. And tell me in the comments which country you're from and if you've ever stood up to a bully like Judge Caprio is doing right now. Mitchell is sputtering now, trying to regain control. Your Honor, I object to this characterization. I was simply doing my job. Simply doing your job? Judge Caprio shakes his head in disgust. Your job is to represent the city with honor and professionalism, not to demean people who are struggling, not to make xenophobic comments about language and understanding, not to kick people when they're already down. He turns to Maria, who is crying quietly, overwhelmed by the confrontation. Mrs. Gonzalez, please look at me. Maria raises her head, tears streaming down her face. I want you to know that what just happened is not okay. The way Mr. Mitchell spoke to you is unacceptable, and I apologize that you had to experience that in my courtroom. You came here today afraid, and instead of being treated with dignity, you were attacked. That ends now. Judge Caprio looks at the paperwork. I see here you have 3 parking tickets over the past 6 months, total of $375. Mrs. Gonzalez, I'm dismissing all of these tickets. All of them. You don't owe this court anything. Mitchell jumps up. Your Honor, you can't just dismiss valid citations because you don't like my tone. I absolutely can, and I just did. Judge Caprio's voice is ice cold now. I have discretion in my courtroom, and I'm exercising that discretion based on the circumstances presented. Mrs. Gonzalez is clearly doing her best in difficult circumstances. These violations were minor. She's not a danger to anyone. The city's resources are better spent on actual problems rather than prosecuting working mothers who are 3 minutes late to catch a bus. But Judge Caprio isn't done. Not even close. Mr. Mitchell, I'm also holding you in contempt of court. Contempt? Mitchell looks like he's been slapped. On what grounds? On the grounds that your behavior was disrespectful to this court, to Mrs. Gonzalez, and to the principles of justice itself. The courtroom goes absolutely wild. People are cheering, clapping, some are standing up. One man yells, "That's right, Judge!" Mitchell is purple with rage. This is outrageous. I'll appeal this. You do that. Judge Caprio leans back. You file whatever appeals you want. But while you're at it, I'm also filing a formal complaint with the Rhode Island Bar Association about your conduct today. Your treatment of Mrs. Gonzalez was prejudiced, unprofessional, and frankly disgusting. Let them decide if this is how attorneys should behave. Comment right now if you think Mitchell got what he deserved. And tell me, should there be more consequences for professionals who abuse their power like this? I want to hear from this community because your voices matter. Mitchell grabs his briefcase and storms toward the door, but Judge Caprio isn't finished. Mr. Mitchell, one more thing. The attorney stops, seething. If you ever appear in my courtroom again, You will treat every single person with respect, regardless of their background, their language skills, or their circumstances. If you can't do that, then I suggest you find another courtroom, because in here, everyone matters, everyone has dignity, and everyone deserves justice. Now get out of my sight. Mitchell slams the door. The sound echoes through the courtroom. For a moment, there's stunned silence. Then the entire room erupts again. People are applauding, whistling, calling out support. Judge Caprio has to use his gavel several times to restore order. He turns back to Maria, who is still crying but now with relief. Mrs. Gonzalez, I want you to listen to me very carefully. You are welcome in this country. You are welcome in this state. You are welcome in this city. And you are especially welcome in this courtroom. Don't let anyone ever make you feel otherwise. Do you understand? Maria nods, unable to speak. Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you so much. You don't need to thank me. You just keep working hard and taking care of your family. That's all any of us can do. As Maria turns to leave, something beautiful happens. Several people from the gallery approach her. One woman hugs her. Another man shakes her hand and slips her some cash. Someone gives her their phone number and tells her about a better paying job opportunity. The community that witnessed this injustice is now rallying around her. This is humanity at its best. Judge Caprio watches from his bench. You can see the satisfaction on his face. This is why he does what he does. Not just to interpret the law, but to make sure the law serves people with compassion and fairness. He takes a deep breath and calls the next case. But the energy in that courtroom has completely shifted. Here's what you need to understand about this case. Derek Mitchell thought he could bully Maria Gonzalez because she was vulnerable, because her English wasn't perfect, because she was a working-class immigrant without power or connections. What he didn't count on was Judge Caprio. What he didn't count on was that in that courtroom, everyone stands on equal ground. The video of this confrontation went viral. Millions of views across platforms. The Rhode Island Bar Association investigated Mitchell's conduct. While the details are confidential, let's just say Mitchell is now much more careful about how he treats people. He learned that actions have consequences. But here's the beautiful part. Maria Gonzalez became a symbol. Advocacy groups reached out to her. She was interviewed about her experience. And the conversation she started about how immigrants are treated in the justice system led to real policy changes in Providence. The city implemented new guidelines for prosecutors handling cases with non-native English speakers. They created better translation services. If you believe that one person standing up can make a difference, drop a like and share this video. And comment below about a time when you or someone you know stood up against injustice. We need these stories. Judge Caprio received thousands of messages after this case. People thanking him. People sharing their own stories of being mistreated. In an interview, he said this wasn't about being a hero. It was about recognizing that courtrooms can be intimidating, especially for marginalized people. His job isn't just to apply the law mechanically. It's to make sure justice is truly blind, that everyone receives fair treatment regardless of who they are. That's the lesson here. Derek Mitchell represents something we've all encountered. That person who uses their position to punch down, who thinks rules only apply to certain people, who mistakes cruelty for strength. But Judge Caprio represents something better. The idea that those with power should use it to protect and uplift, not to demean and destroy. Before we wrap up, Where in the world are you watching from? Have you been in a situation like Maria's, where you felt powerless against someone abusing authority? Or witnessed someone like Judge Caprio stand up for what's right? Comment below, because this community is built on shared experiences. Hit subscribe for more stories of justice, compassion, and people getting exactly what they deserve. And share this with someone who needs to see that there are still good people fighting for what's right. 3 months later, Maria wrote to Judge Caprio. She said what he did that day changed her life. Not just because he dismissed the tickets, but because he showed her that she mattered, that her dignity mattered, that she deserved respect like anyone else. That moment gave her courage to stand up for herself in other situations, to advocate for herself and others, to believe the system could work for people like her. That's the real power of what happened. It wasn't just about parking tickets or contempt charges or putting an arrogant lawyer in his place. It was about affirming someone's humanity, about using power responsibly, about showing that when we stand together against injustice, we make a real difference. This is why Judge Caprio has become a global phenomenon. In a world that often feels cruel and unfair, he shows us that compassion and justice can coexist. That standing up for the vulnerable isn't weakness, it's the highest form of strength. That every person who enters that courtroom deserves to be seen, heard, and treated with basic human decency. That's the standard we should all aspire to. That's what real justice looks like. And that's why millions around the world tune in to watch this remarkable judge do his work.